Hello, my name is Reverend Mike. Welcome to Missing the Point. In this series, I'm going to correct common misconceptions found in religion. This series is probably going to be very unpopular because people want to hate. The topic of this episode is, does God hate gays? Well, there are three main types of laws found in the Bible. The first is theological law, more commonly known as the Ten Commandments. These were directly passed down by God. The second type of law is civil law. They're punishments for theft, assault, rape, murder, that sort of thing. The third type of law found in the Bible is cultural law. This is primarily found in Leviticus. Chapter 18 is where most of the sexual laws are. Denounces homosexuality, incest, also forbids sleeping with a woman when she's menstruating. These cultural laws were meant primarily to distinguish Hebrews from other cultures. After the Exodus, they had to forbid homosexuality. They needed to grow their numbers because they knew they were vulnerable to other cultures in the area. To this day, nearly all Middle Eastern countries are extremely hostile to the Jews. They could not allow two guys to hook up, nor could they allow marriage to kin. Today, many of these laws are not needed. We need to keep incest laws to reduce the chance of birth defects, but the other laws are, frankly, obsolete. We have 8 billion people on the planet right now. We can afford to leave the homosexuals alone. Giving them the same rights as everyone else is not going to hurt our country or our society. In fact, it will strengthen it. They're not being given special rights. They're being given the same rights as everyone else. And I frankly don't understand why people are so afraid of this. It is not going to alter freedom of religion. It's not. I would like to briefly share a story to support the idea that giving homosexuals rights is not going to affect religious freedom. When my wife and I were planning our marriage, we found difficulty finding a place to get married because we did not belong to a conventional congregation. Even among Christians, if you're not part of the congregation, they have no obligation whatsoever to do a marriage for somebody outside the congregation. None. Completely legal if they do not want to include people from the outside to use their particular church. We eventually did find a place, but this should punctuate the fact that it is not going to cause some sort of shift in the laws where people can force priests to perform marriages they don't want to do. That's not a thing. It never has been a thing and never will be a thing. Give up your hate. It's not based on the teachings of God. It is cultural laws. They're the prejudices of an outdated time period. They're held on to by small-minded people who do not know the Word of God, do not know their own religious texts, whether Christian or Islamic or Judaism. They don't know their own texts as well as they think they do. Now, outside the cultural laws listed in Leviticus and the New Testament, there are a few passages that people twist into their own meanings to support their bigotry and hatred. Let's start with Genesis 9 verses 20 to 25, where Ham uncovered his father's nakedness, and his brothers covered up that nakedness without looking at it. The term father's nakedness, used in verse 23, is very often misunderstood. Some readers don't understand why Ham was so severely punished for just seeing his father naked. But there is definitely more going on here than just seeing somebody naked. While the word nakedness is often used literally, it is also used figuratively, as a figure of speech. Uncovering somebody's nakedness is used to refer to sex, specifically incest. This passage is used to condemn homosexuality, but this passage does not describe a consensual situation, but incest and rape. According to Leviticus 18:8, the nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover, it is thy father's nakedness. This is about sex with your father's wife, not your father. It is a detestable act, but not a same-sex one, not something that is remotely related to homosexuality. What about Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 19? Two strangers come into town, and Lot knows there's going to be trouble. He begs them to come into his house, to stay with him, to protect them. But it's too late. Word gets around, and a crowd of evil people show up outside Lot's house. Where are the men which came unto thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. This is not a bunch of homosexuals wanting to take them out on a date. This is a mob looking to rape. Fortunately, the two men were actually angels and were able to strike the mob blind. This is another passage that is not about homosexuality. It's about sexual predators, and sexual predators can strike either gender. This passage is not about homosexuality, at least not consensual. So you see, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because there were mobs of predators roaming the streets, not because there was a bunch of gay guys in town. This passage has been twisted to serve hate for long enough, and it needs to stop. Hating people because of a biological determination is not right. If it was a choice, most of them wouldn't make it. It's so much easier culturally, or at least it used to be, so much easier culturally to just not be that way. But people have to be true to themselves. If their biological being has them attracted to a particular gender, they can't control that. Frankly, I don't envy people who are gay. their life has to be extremely difficult. I've known a number of homosexuals, and they've all been good people. They do not deserve hate. Some of them are the very glue that holds their family together. And I don't know about any of you, but I'm not strong enough to be one of them. I'm very, very fortunate that I am hetero. I don't have to worry about walking down the street and being killed because I like women. But they have to fear that they might be the target of hate and violence because of their biology, and that's unfortunate. Give up hate. Don't let it take you. Thank you for watching this video. Please click like or dislike. Subscribe if you want to see more. Feel free to comment or question. Your questions might even become the subject of future videos. Be good to each other. We're all in this together.